Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ask Me Anything session of XROS Fellowship Program by Fiki, supported by Meta. My name is Punit. I'm co-founder at Reskill. I am with Gerard Baldsing from MotionDesign. Welcome, Gerard. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm also good. Thank you for asking. So, I'll quickly start with the introduction. So, I would request if you can introduce about yourself, about your organization first, then we'll come on the project.
Okay. My name's Gerard Baldsing. I'm a developer and animator based in Perth, Australia. I have my own little animation and motion graphics interactive media company, and I do a lot of work for a bunch of different clients. At the moment, it's myself and a couple of contractors that I work with to service clients in Perth, in other parts of Australia, and also internationally. So there's a bunch of work that kind of comes my way, and it's a mix of animation work and interactive media work that I'm doing. A lot of augmented reality stuff and a lot of interactive Web 3D stuff as well.
Awesome. That's great to hear from you. Now, request if you could elaborate in a more explanatory way about the project
Yeah.
that we put
Okay.
up in our fellowship program. Yeah.
Cool. So the project is based on a proposal we put forward to Adidas. Me and my production partner of mine put forward to Adidas a little while ago. They weren't that keen on the idea at the time. It was the middle of COVID, and they just didn't have the budget and time to spend with it. Myself and the production partner have been in contact with them, and when I was approached by XRS Fellowship for this project, we kind of revived the project and are looking to build a prototype out for Adidas. Actually, the initial idea was to build it for Adidas, but we wanted to include Nike, Strava, and Under Armour's Map My Run into this project as well. So it doesn't just become a project specifically for any kind of brand of shoe. It could be a prototype that either we run on our own, or it's a project that we can potentially sell to a running shoe company or a fitness company that we're looking at kind of creating. What it is it's a metaverse style running out, incorporating a whole bunch of different um, a whole bunch of the data from a whole bunch of different running apps that are out there. So I'm a runner myself, and I used to run using the Nike Running Club app on my phone a lot. I used to track my data, my stats, and all that kinds of stuff pretty well. I switched over to Map My Run, which is owned by Under Armour, just for a point of difference, just to see what it was like. And that's when we started coming up this idea of having a running app that ties in everyone's data, right? So they can track, people can track their running data and their stats against each other and race against each other in like fantasy based metaverse style events. Um, at the same time, what there's a big focus on is the gear everyone's running in. So specifically the running shoes, but also um, any specific accessories that help you that get you most out of your performance, but at the same time create a better running experience. And lots of videos on things like extra training, stretching, etc., etc., uh, that people can kind of talk about as well. So it's kind of a hub for a bunch of runners in different spaces that isn't isn't explicitly linked to a specific brand. The more I run and the more events that I undertake, I'm finding it's very brand orientated, obviously, and it's also very dominated by Nike. So we're trying to partner with a fitness or an apparel brand, a sporting apparel brand that's trying to integrate themselves with other apparels, other brands, but also kind of leech out of Nike's dominance of the sport in a way. So Reeboks, the Adidases, the Under Armours, the Stravas, all those kinds of things. We're looking at plugging into that ecosystem and bringing them all together into a metaverse kind of experience.
All right. So here's a chance for everyone to work with brands and into the industry of fitness and all, right?
Yeah,
And creating a platform, metaverse platform, wherein one can see each other walking, running, etc. So
exactly.
apart,
Yeah.
uh, Gerard, I have a question. Like, what are the technologies that are encompassing in this platform? Like, if I'm a developer, what would be the prerequisite that you are looking at?
But in terms of the tech stack, what I'd like to build it in is my favorite 3D engine of choice, which is Babylon JS, and looking at integrations, obviously, with Strava, Map My Run, Adidas, and the Nike running apps themselves. So there'll be integrations with those APIs. And at the same time, creating like a nice back end of community of people that can log on to this app or to their servers and start to chat um, and converse with each other on events, on their running, tips on like picking up your speed, your pace, and all those kinds of things as well.
Right. So Babylon JS, the engine that you are using, that's the first requirement. If someone having this skill set, they must apply for motion design, meta runner.
Yeah, but having said that, like uh, I use Babylon JS a lot, so um, I'd like to be involved with. I'm going to be involved with the development of this as much as I can. Uh, yeah, I put it on the initial document. Um, the main bits of the tech stack that I would like people to get involved in as well. I'm just having a look for that now.
Okay.
Where is it? But yeah, that's the main part of the tech stack that we need to have a chat about for people to uh, understand.
Right. So what would be the secret sauce to impress you through the proposal? What are the three or five key points one should uh, plan or build it while developing the proposal for your organization?
Uh, I, in terms of the back end, I'd like to have open discussions with people about that. I've seen things like something called Kinesis, which uses the Babylon JS 3D engine, but turns it into like a multiplayer style game that works in the browsers, um, and it works in browsers cross platform, pretty much in real time. So it could work on, say, if I'm on my desktop and put it, you'd be um, on your iPhone. We could both log in at the same time and be conversing with each other and have a very similar experience across different devices. Um, that's from the back end. From the front end, I'd like to see some really good UI and front end web development stuff. And at the same time, I'm looking for 3D artists or one or two 3D artists with some really good design skills as well that can partner with me to create some great assets to um, uh, make it look really nice and slick, and make it look like we want to impress the brands that we want to work with. So we want to make it look up to the quality of Nike and Strava and Map My Run and the things. Keep it up to the same level of design that those brands expect. So tech stack, I'm just uh, giving you a list of things there, Punit. If you want to export that out. I'll
Right.
send it out to the everyone on the chat.
I'll share it.
Yeah.
So there is one question from South. What is the role of 3D artist and Engine user? I rendered lots of videos and does animations, but never thought this way. So have to dive into metaverse and learn and think.
Rather than using Unreal Engine, I use Babylon JS. Um, the reason why I like using that is it's pretty powerful for what we can do in the browser, and it works in the browser natively. I've tried to export just in my own tests, export scenes from Unreal Engine and Unity and use them in the browser. But I always find you paying, not paying, but you've got a like an overhead when it exports out pretty much the whole engine to be used in the browser as well, which is about 150, 160 meg just for the HTML5 version of Unreal Engine. It works great when it's in the browser, but that's like a massive download for people just to have a look at. Whereas Babylon JS and some of the dev stuff that I've done so far for MetaRunner, I'm looking at maybe 500 kilobytes for the engine and all the assets on top of that optimized for web as best as we can.
All right. So the next question that I just wanted to put up, like, suppose I'm a student and I am a
Mhm.
professional as well. So, do you have something in your mind, like you are only looking for professionals, or you're looking for students, or you're looking only for the skills? If I have skills, am I eligible to apply for the program for this project?
Yeah, absolutely. Just skill. Yeah, if you've got a strong skill set, and if you've got a keen eye for design and communication, I'd love to hear from you.
Great. And what would be the minimum hour durations per week, like 20 hours or 30 hours is required to work with you to get this done during this cohort? The ideal time frame.
Um, it's hard to say because it depends on the amount of developers we have and the skill level that they're at. Um, I realize there is a little bit of there will be a bit of a learning curve attached to this as well. Um, yeah, it's just how much I would say it'd be around about the 30 hours a week uh, per developer. If I'm looking at getting maybe one or two developers in the front end, a developer to help me with the Babylon JS stuff, and then two developers on the back end. Uh, what would be really good as well is if we get some people that are a bit multi-skilled, so full stack. Not I wouldn't say full stack, but if we've got a good front end developer that understands a little bit of the back end, a good designer that understands 3D, that would be perfect as well. Because then we can use like a range of skills to get more of the work done.
Okay, you mean one should understand the front end with basic knowledge of back end as well as uh, good understanding of 3D modeling, etc. That
Yeah,
could be the
I know that's hard to get people with those level of skills. Um, so maybe it'll be almost impossible to get someone with that level of three disciplines. But if we can mix two of them around, that would be really helpful.
all right. So, any tips or any sort of tricks that you wanted to give to the developers so they can keep in their mind while building the proposal?
Um, yeah, I've also got um, bear with me 2 seconds.
Hmm.
If you can share this as well, Punit. This is um, uh, the development that I'm kind of basing everything on. So if you go through to the metarunner.tech/dev link, you'll see I've started to create like a little bit of a 3D environment where we've got one character running around an environment. That environment I'd like to have, actually, what I'll do, let me present.
Yeah.
Bear with me 2 seconds. Let me set this up. Okay, can you see that on your end?
Do you want me to share the screen?
Yep.
Okay. Just give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Is my screen is visible?
Yep, I think so. And I'm turning. Can you see me navigating it on your screen?
Mm,
So this would be the prototype, the very, very bare bones prototype of a character when you're logged in, or an avatar, I should say, of a runner. All the data will be extracted from the running app that you log in with. So whether it to be Strava, Nike, or Adidas, you can customize your clothes with all your running gear, and most importantly, customize your shoes, right? Which I haven't done, obviously, in this. From here, you can run around the environment. So this is me pointing and clicking and dragging for the character to run around. And because it'll be filled with a whole bunch of different characters in real time, everybody can chat to each other and also race against each other, comparing each
you
other's
mean
stats.
you are creating an environment wherein multiple people can run together, create uh, different avatars and
Yep.
and run against each other, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have two avatars as like a male and a female base. Can you still see my screen there?
Mm,
Let me just stop presenting.
yeah, present again.
Share screen. Tie screen. So these are characters that I've built in 3D. So this is my software of choice, Maya. Right. And I've got two characters here in this environment, this metaverse style environment. All right. And this will be like their interesting kind of new age running store. We've got, just turn my shadows on.
Yeah.
Like in these little pillars and stuff like that, I wanted to put a whole bunch of different shoes. The shoes would be eventually they'd be sponsored by the retailers themselves or the brands themselves, and we can put like a pair of Nike shoes, a pair of Adidas shoes, and all that kinds of stuff in there as well. They could be prizes, they could be giveaways, but ultimately they're ads for the different shoes. And the characters can run around, talk to each other, compare stats to each other, have a look at the different shoes and the different running tips all around in this running universe or in this running store. And then what they can do is go out for a run against each other. Their stats and their attributes when they run against each other are all based on the stats and the attributes that you have when you're running, right? So the only way in the game you're going to be able to beat people is if you actually stop playing the game and get out there and run, right? And that builds up your power, that builds up your speed, your pace, and your endurance that you can take into a virtual race. So for me, the idea about this app is to spend the least amount of time on it, just to get inspired, to turn it off and get outside and run. but you're running with all that knowledge that you've gained from spending a little bit of time in it, um, just to get you motivated to get out there.
Right. So I mean, it's a great experiment. I mean, great product that you are building. So I really wanted to use it very soon.
Thanks, Peter.
So
Uh, yeah.
I think we have covered most of the questions that developer had. So in case if you have any questions, anything, you can ask to Gerard in the Slack group that we have created.
Hmm.
So we'll have more questions coming this week near to the deadlines. So
Yeah.
Gerard will be available, will try to answer all of your queries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this was quick. Thank you so much, Gerard, for your time. And
No
any
dramas.
last advice that you wanted to give, like what should be the motivation level, like you'll learn this with in this cohort uh, with your mentoring, etc.
Um, Keep chatting to me about what you guys, any questions you guys have. I'll try to get back to them as soon as possible. Um, Before you apply, I would ask everybody to jump into, if you haven't already, jump into Babylon JS and just get a feel for the framework, and maybe have a look at a couple of the videos on YouTube. The community in Babylon JS for all the 3D, the real time 3D engines that I've played around with, the community in Babylon JS has been the most supportive, the most informative, and the most helpful. Um, so a lot of the learnings that will come on this project, I will normally share out to the people in the community as well. Um, that way, there's a lot of give and take in what we're learning together. Um, so have a look on what they're doing as well. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much what I'd say. That's my best piece of advice. At the same time, if you've got any 3D experience, any design experience, please include that into your application as well.
Yeah. Janesh knows Unity, Euphoria, Engine, and Spark AR.
Okay.
Does it really add value to his application?
Um, Unity um, has been toying around with the export to Babylon JS function and framework for a while. I haven't. I've had mixed reviews when I've used it, but Janice, if you want to have a look at that, that might help. If you've got some good answers to say, that might help your application and stuff like that. But I really want to test to see if that would work. I need some convincing to know if that's the way forward. But Unity and Babylon JS are quite closely mixed. It doesn't have the same editing functions and authoring functions that Unity has or Unreal has, but it's pretty quick to learn and get your head around and stuff like that as well. It's got a great debug editor in it as well. So usually what I do is I code, have the editor open, start to debug while I'm uh, editing my code in Visual Studio at the same time. So yeah, happy to work with you guys on that as well.
Cool. Thank you so much, Gerard,
Okay.
for answering the queries.
Yeah.
So we will reach out to you if we have more queries at the Slack channel.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Greetings from India again.
Yeah.
Grateful.
No worries. I look forward to hearing from you guys and seeing your applications and starting on this project that you're.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
Thank you, everyone. And it's a great opportunity for you to apply for Motion Design Meta Runner. And it's a nicely done, uh, running across with each other, against with each other, with using various shoes, various companies, industry.
yeah, cool. No, I think I've just signed into the Slack channel, so should be able to answer all your questions, guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I thank you so much.
No worries. Okay.